What's going on, guys? This is Mystic Prune, and today this is a little bit something different. We're going to try MotoGP career mode, but not in a milestone game, because milestone games are crap these days. So we're going to be using MotoGP 4. As you can see, I've got myself all set up and everything with my own little lids and stuff, and my riding style. I'm going to use the Type C riding style in this, I think. So we'll see what we can do. It's going to be much the same as what I've done previously in MotoGP games. It's going to be a season. I'm going to do a new game. It's going to be as hard as we can get it. Simulation on, weather random, and full amount of laps. So we're going to be using our own rider. We are going to be starting in the 125 series, because back then it was the 2 strokes in the lower category, 125, 250 and the 990s. So we're going to be starting on the 125s. I don't quite know what bike to go on. That one appears to have the best top speed but the worst handling. I could probably get it to handle okay. That one seems to be the best of all of them. So, on average anyway. So we're probably going to go with this one, the Angea Racing Honda. So there you go, in the 125 they compete on machines with 2-stroke engines, size 125cc, KTM, Honda, Derby, Gilera. Some of the talented riders include Dovizioso, Hector Barbera, Roberto Locatelli. There you go, basically. We are at Phakisa Freeway. So, welcome. So, we've got free practice, basic setup, qualifying practice, standings. So, let's have a look, see what we've got setup wise. I don't know what we need. Let's just run with that for now. So we're going to go into free practice for round 1 at Phakisa Freeway. 5 minutes to set a lap time. We have to beat 2:12 to actually qualify, because you can, if you go too slowly, you can not qualify for the race, which is something that Milestone don't have. So we're going to go, we can do a 50, I think we did a 54 in free training. So this bike is a little bit more sketchy now. As you can see, the front end was wallowing a bit up there. So what's happened is, as I've changed the settings to go towards a bit better cornering, it's actually made it a little easier to go past the soft lock on the lean, so it's a little easier to crash around the corners now. Run a little bit wide, but we're going to pull it back, get on the throttle as early as we can. Out the power band a bit there, we're going to knock back in the power band. We head down the straight, that's not straight, into this double right-hander. This is the start of the Misano section for me. We are still 0.3 up on Dovizioso. Of course, we're going to be seeing out the 3 minutes. It's only a couple of laps of qualifying, so there really isn't much point in cutting this short, as we're going to backshift once, all the way out again, manhandle this bike to try and get it around that corner into the hairpin. Lacking the power there, really struggling to hold the corner speed, particularly in the wet. So that might be something that I have to look at. If we do a 53.7, that puts us in P1. decent run through the first corner, but was it fast? I do not know, as the back end's getting a little loose. We are pretty much even with ourselves on the previous lap. So we come out of this corner up to the hairpin. This was where I ran wide, so I think we might be able to hold a little bit of extra time through here. Bike beginning to walk a little bit. Now, as far as I know, there's tyre wear in this game, but we gained half a second there just by not running wide as we hug the inside of that apex poorly. So there's definitely time to be found still out there on the track. Come into the faster right. I keep forgetting it's not Misano. It's like Misano, but it's not. I have to downshift a bit more. We're a bit wide there, but we're going to get on the throttle. Instead of pull it back, we're going to hold the outside line. We come out the final corner. We got a minute left. We went a tenth faster in that time, near enough. Bike beginning to fold a bit around there. Lost a little bit of time. But there's still time to be found in the last sector. Up to the next right-hander. Keep the revs high on this two-stroke. We lost a lot of time on the exit of the previous corner for going down into second instead of first. Use the gear to turn the bike. Keep the revs high. This is my final lap. The timer has hit 0. We lost half a second there, so we're pretty much on par with our first flying lap now. As we come down the back straight once more. Full tuck. The bike was not wanting to play through there. As you can see, the front is all over the place. I might up the stability just a little bit, just to help with the consistency. This does feel faster, this setup, but... And there we go, 0.002 faster than what we were previously, and we've got nearly 2 seconds on Dovi in second. So we're going to head over to the race now. I'm going to change the setup back, give us a little bit more in terms of stability, and then head over to the race. See you there. Race. So there's the race. We're on pole. Quick run through of the grid. I completely forgotten like 90% of the people that were even here. We've got Matteo Pessin there. That should have an I on the end, I think. Got Lorenzo Harms, Talmashi, Pesek. There's a lot of big names in this. And it is still raining, so the setup change that I made is going to be useful. The lights are on, the lights are off. We're alongside Dovi as we come. We got a better start than Dovi. We're going to slide over to the inside. So we do have a little bit more stable bike now. So we might have lost a bit of speed, as we got 24 laps of Phakisa Freeway in the rain. Now I don't know how this is going to how this is going to work, how exciting the race is going to be. So it might just get cropped down to entertaining moments, fastest lap, that kind of thing. But I mean, at the end of sector 1 though, we already had a 2-second lead and we were nearly 2 seconds faster in qualifying. So now, like I said, we should have slowed the bike down a little bit. Oh, indeed, they clawed back through that sector. But we should have slowed the bike down a little bit with the setup change I made. So the gap might have come down a little bit, but overall, I think we should be pretty stable. For a decent race. So we'll get the first few laps out the way and see where we stand. So final corner then. Pity MotoGP doesn't go here anymore, to be honest. It's quite a fun little track. We've got a big advantage through sector 1, but we run wide into that turn. I don't know what turn that is, whether that's turn 2 or 4, I don't know, but or whatever even. So we're gonna lose all of that advantage we just built up. So yeah. MotoGP 4 then? Well, why is the answer? Well, MotoGP 22 has been scheduled for release and stuff like that. So and to be quite honest with you, it looks appalling. It's tap the grass there. More of the same from Milestone, and doesn't look like any of the fixes are going to be beneficial. And certainly the handling from the people that I have spoken to seems to be even a step back even from GP21, which is not good. So that might be giving that a miss as we run wide again. So I might be giving that a miss. Certainly on the launch day I will be waiting for sales and reviews and stuff. So that's where this comes in, as I've been thinking about getting back into doing some more content creation style videos. So that's where this kind of video and this kind of game comes in. So it's stuff that you don't really see on YouTube. And it is fun, like I said, the handling model is far from realistic, as I'm sure you can see, but it's just fun. I can't think of a Milestone game that actually comes close to just how fun this game is. I mean, sure, the nostalgia's all there and that, but I'm running it on PCSX 2 with a custom controller profile to match what I normally run on my motorcycle games, triggers for accelerator brake and so on. And I've upped it to HD and a couple of frame drops here and there, which I'm going to be ironing out, I think. But other than that, like, it doesn't look too bad. As you can see, the handling isn't great, but it's challenging, and like I say, it's fun. The atmosphere of this game is just somewhere else. It creates an atmosphere and an excitement that Milestone just haven't come close to be quite honest. And the attention to detail as well, which is something you don't really say much about PlayStation 2 era games, but the attention to detail is stunning. Right, the tyre wall, even in this, it looks really good. The wet weather, as you can see, looks really good. This is really kind of what weather is like. Granted, the visibility is possibly a bit exaggerated for when you're on your own. But again, can't fault it. It was a little trick for the PlayStation 2 hardware to reduce render distances. So, I mean, the sounds aren't too bad either. It has echoes from all the right places, and I'm running in surround sound mode. On top of that, the game has the native 16:9 resolution that you can access in the menus. So it really was ahead of its time, and it is quite fun from Namco. It does make me wonder where MotoGP games would have gone if Namco still had the rights. Would they have aimed to go a bit more realistic with the handling? Possibly. I mean, they've already got the actual game set here. And if you look from GP2 all the way through to GP4, this one, which is when they had the licensing, the handling does change, and it does get a little bit more loose and a little bit more... Well, it just gets a little bit more, to be honest, each time. So, I mean, honestly, for a PlayStation 2 game, it's hard to find fault, and I am thoroughly enjoying it. So, so far though, this is perhaps not the greatest race to be watching, so I'll do this lap, and then we might just cut away to some of the exciting stuff. We're about to start lap 6 now. We're approaching a quarter distance of this race. We've got a 1.5 second lead. We are beginning to eke it out now. We've done a couple of 53s. We've just gone on the grass. That was a good thing to do. Down shifting 2, so we've kept the gap the same, about 1.5 seconds. We've running a little wide, trying to push the front end a little bit there to try and pull it back, but it wasn't having it. If I'm running wide, I'm just going to run it wide, and I'm not going to try and pull it back, as the last thing I want to do here is fall. Don't lose that much time when you fall, but in the race it's as close as this, with a 1.5 second lead, it's not something that you want to be doing. So anyway, Livecom Max is leaving the building. Pull out another 2/10 in the first sector, so I will be cutting back to whenever it's interesting. Voiceover prune here, and we've cut back. We're just starting lap 9 now, so we're just past the third race distance. As you can see, the gap's going up by a little bit. I just did my fastest lap of the race, so the consistency's still there. We're doing 53s mostly, and that was a 52, so I'm beginning to push a little bit at this point, so it's a decent first sector, I think. pulled another 10th on Dovey in the first sector. So I get a decent run out of that corner, and then we come into this next corner. This is a bit of a bitch all weekend for me. All weekend, all the session really, running a bit wide, and I just tip in a little too much, and we have a nice little accident. So we lose a good couple of positions off that one, and now it's game on. So I'm down into P4. Obviously you didn't lose too much time, but it takes a while to get into the flow of things, and considering how close we were, wasn't great. So wasn't looking forward to the rest of the race. So here we go again. Coming to a bit later in the lap now as we come down the back straight. Just getting a move done up the inside into the Misano section, because it reminds me of the Cavone, that entire section of Misano with the fast rights that gradually get tighter and tighter. So that was 4th place. Had a bit of a lunge for second, sorry. That was 3rd place. Had a bit of a lunge for second, but ran a little wide, killed my momentum, so I lost it for the next couple of corners. As you can see, with a lap later now, that's the corner where I had my little off. Get a good run onto the left hand side, good little move onto the switchback. Nice and late on the brakes. He tries to hold it around the outside, but we just have the line and the speed. So a good little move that back into second, and we're setting off back after Dovey, who's got quite the lead, as you can see. So again, another lap later, just caught the back of Dovey. Try and go around the outside here, but I don't really get that going. So we've set the fastest lap, so we're a bit later on in the same lap now, coming into the 2 rights, going onto the back straight. Get a good run out through the first right, and a good run through the second right, and we just breeze by. Little did I know that would be the last time I would see Dovey, as I started putting in some started getting used to it. As you can see, we did a 2 minutes when we had to make the overtake, and that in the last previous lap, but we did 52s consistently, and we were getting faster and faster. So there's our lap times again. Excuse me, 52, 53, 53. Just pushing the envelope a little bit now. So I believe this will be my fastest lap of the race, lap 14. So coming through turn 1, trying to keep it tight. Wait till you can spot your exit to go, because you don't want to be getting off the throttle, you want to be on the throttle, adding more all the time. The minute you have to get off the throttle and back on again, you lose so much momentum, even in this game. So, didn't quite get down to the apex there, but again I just managed to get the throttle on and drive out of the corner, this bit of the curb, up into this hellhole of the corner, breaking the 50 metre board. Again, don't quite get down to the apex, but because it opens out after the initial turning, you can carry a little more speed through the exit than you think. Again, not quite hitting the apex there, but keeping that corner speed up, which is all important. Staying as far left as I can get here, braking at the 50, turning a little bit after the line there. Did get the apex there, but it was still a little early, as you can see it pushing a little wide, but managed to hold it round and get a good run onto the back straight. So flat down the back straight, brake just as the tarmac on the right ends into grass, down to 2 gears, down another gear for the second section, try and run as far wide as you can, down into first for this really tight hairpin. You want to try and hold it on the curb, and not longer than I did to be honest, but again it was just trying to get the corner speed and get on the throttle. So second gear is probably better for that corner, but it was just again trying to get it into the apex, and that was a 51.8. So that was the fastest lap I did of that race. So a couple of laps later now, and as you can see there's a bike on the horizon, because we're on lap 17 of 24, 100% race. And we're just starting to get into the lap traffic, so we're calling up to the lap traffic now. As you can see, I backed the pace off a little bit. There wasn't much lead. I did end up with like a 5 or 6 second lead. So I backed the pace off. Dovey started closing me down just a little bit. But we are getting into the lap traffic, so I know that this is going to play a bit of a role, especially considering the gap is on the 5-second mark at the moment. So cutting a little bit later in the lap, get up the inside there before we actually get onto the straight. So that's the first lap traffic out of the way. Second one about a lap later, coming through the first fast right there. And as you can see, the Dobby got held up behind the lap traffic, and the gap just going up and up and up now. It's coming to the third lapper. I believe, if I remember right, this was Gabor Talmashi. So he just, the lines crossed just a little bit there, coming through that right-hander. So, but I managed to just take a bit patient, had some time to work with. So, starting the final lap now, as you can see, we've had some good consistent laps. We've done some 52s, mid 52s. We're just eking out that gap and getting used to how this 125 rides in the wet. So there's another lapper. Final lap of the race. 3 sector 1. Down into first gear. Managing to hit the apex for that one that time. Didn't quite use as much of the track as I did previously, but no problems there. On the brakes at 50 board. Turning a bit early for that one because, like I say, it opens out so you can run it a bit wide. And this corner is deceptive. In this game there's a little bit of banking, so you can work with it. But it actually, again, it opens out a little bit, so we're approaching another lap. I don't know if we'll get this one. I don't think I got this one before the end of the lap. As we go flying down. Again, keep left, braking after the 50 there, because at this point I was a bit confident on the brakes. So, going all the way out to the edge of the curb, flat stick through that right onto this back straight. Braking just where the tarmac ends on the right, down 2 gears into 4th, then another gear into 3rd. Carry as much speed as you can and down 2 gears again, so you're first for this one. As you can see, I managed to pull it a little narrower than that time. Final corner, final lap. Here we go, get a good exit. Man with the checkered flag. And there he is, and that's the win. Winning round 1. Okay, so there you have it, the final results. We won by 11.771 seconds. Could have probably been more if I didn't have that little spill, but overall, decent little first round, as we are currently at the top on 25 points. Decent haul of points as well, GP points, so we should be getting a good ride come the next season. And there's a little something that Milestone don't have, and that's the big old save replay button right there. But we're not going to, because we've got all we need. We're going to auto save. Wow. My team boss is very surprised, apparently, for it. So, and we're on to Jerez, which will be the next round. So, hope you enjoyed this round 1. Not sure what format it's going to take yet in terms of editing, but we'll see how it goes. So thanks once again. I'll see you in round 2.